Hello, dear students. Today we are here to discuss one of the important topic in plant anatomy, that is tissue systems in plant body. This topic included in BSc second year third semester botany subject. Let us move to the topic. In the plant body, different type of vegetative and reproductive organs are there. Each organ is made up of with tissues only. So in plant body, complex or simple tissues may function as a structural support or protective coverings or transport the materials just like water and minerals and food. These permanent and as well as complex tissues organized in different organs as a unit. So a group of tissues performing a similar function irrespective of its position in the plant body is called as tissue system. Julius Sachs identified and classified the plant tissue systems into three types. So one is epidermal tissue system, another one is ground tissue system, third one is vascular tissue system. So these three type of tissue systems are made entire plant body and perform different type of functions. For example, the epidermal tissue system present in all organs, just like leaf, stem, and root. Each organ outermost layer, which is covered by epidermal tissue system only. So the entire parts of the plant which covered by epidermal tissue system. So that's why this yellow color region of leaf and the stem and as well as the root, which protective from the outer environment or external environment by these one kind of tissue system, that is epidermal tissue system. And the central core of the root or stem or in the middle part of the leaf, which composed with two type of complex tissues, that is xylem and as well as phloem, which are meant for transport the water and solutes as well as minerals also. This core part of the root and stem makes vascular tissue system, which meant for only transport. The in between the epidermal and the vascular tissue system, most area occupied by ground tissue system. This ground tissue system performs storage function and as well as it gives mechanical support and as well as it helps in the assimilation of food materials, sometimes regeneration process also. So this area, for example, the cortex region and pith region and below the epidermal layers which are present in the plant body makes ground tissue system. So these are the three tissue systems are recognized and classified by Julius Sachs in the angiosperm plants. So first we discuss about the first type of tissue system, that is epidermal tissue system. In the epidermal tissue system, we discuss about more or less about epidermal layer or epidermis. So epidermis forms the outermost boundary of primary plant body, which cover all the parts of plants in primary stage. Epidermis is derived from the protoderm. So the protoderm is related to meristematic tissue. That meristematic tissue responsible for the formation of epidermis and accessory parts. It is direct contact with external environment. The epidermis layer is directly contact with external environment. So for example, this is leaf structure. See the superficial layer and other accessory parts of the epidermis constitute epidermal tissue system. This epidermal tissue system having main part as epidermis and which is associated with few structures also. For example, in the epidermis, we can see stomata. The epidermal cells are covered by a layer of cuticle. These epidermis cells or epidermal cells produces some external appendages that is known as trichomes or hairs, and a few epidermal cells act as glands or secretory cells. So these are the structures which are associated with epidermis and perform various functions. So first we know about the epidermis. So epidermis is always a outermost layer made up of with the parenchyma cells which are arranged side by side without intercellular spaces. Normally, which present in the root, stem as well as leaf also. This epidermis normally one cell thickness, that is all cells are arranged in one row, that is uniseriate condition, because the epidermal cells always undergo anticlinal divisions. That's why the cell number is increased, but the row number never increases. It is always one layered structure or one cell thickness. But a few exceptions are there. Two-layer epidermis is also present in the Ficus elastica. In some plants, multi-layered epidermis is also present. In this multi-layer epidermis consisting 2 to 16 rows of cells, which is present in Nerium leaf or Peperomia. So, because in this epidermis, both type of divisions are takes place. That is periclinal and as well as anticlinal divisions. That's why row number is also increases. In the woody trees, due to the secondary growth, epidermis is lost. The epidermis is replaced by another layer that is known as periderm. So in the periderm present in mature trees or woody trees due to the secondary growth. And moreover, so for example, these epidermal cells containing some chromoplasts or sometimes pigments also. That's why it appear in color. For example, in the rheodiscular plant, the upper and lower epidermis cells containing one kind of pigments, anthocyanin pigments. That's why which appear in pink color. But in Orchidaceae members, special modified roots are there, that is velamin roots. In the velamin roots, the exodermis layer outward containing a rows of cells which are dead cells, that is cork cells are there. So this is velamin tissue is present which absorb the water from the environment. So this is velamin tissue. This is a dead tissue, velamin tissue containing number of cells which are arranged in 5 to 7 or 8 rows. So the main function of the velamin roots is absorption of water. Leaf is a isobilateral structure or it is a dorsiventral structure. Both sides are flat-ended. That's why the two layers are surrounded by or covered with epidermis, upper epidermis and lower epidermis. In case of root and stem, it is a continuous layer. It may not interrupt it. Continuous layer and uniceriate structure in the root and stem. So in the root and stem also some appendages also we have seen here. So outer epidermal wall often covered by waxy layer called as cuticle, which is present in stem and leaf only, which helps in prevent the water loss. So it regulates the transpiration process. Some epidermal cells of root develop hair-like structures or extensions that increase the water absorption area. That is nothing but called root hairs. These are the root hairs. In woody stems and roots, epidermis replaced by dead cork cells, which as constitute as peridermal layer. In epidermis layer, two type of cells are present. One is normal epidermal cells, another one is bulliform cells or motor cells. Normal epidermal cells, which are living cells and parenchymatous form. In these cells, a prominent nucleus and vacuolated protoplasm and other cell organelles present. Along with the cell organelles, leucoplasts or chromoplasts and anthocyanin pigments are also present. So that's why they appear in color. In grass plants, the epidermal cells composed with two type of dwarf cells, which gives mechanical support. The two type of dwarf cells are silica cells, another one is cork cells. Silica cells is made up of with silica granules, okay, which gives a rough surface or rough texture to the leaf. And cork cells, in these cork cells, the cell wall is made up of with suberin, which gives mechanical support. So silica and cork cells composed in between the normal epidermals. So this is silica cell, another one is cork cells. These are the structurally and size and shape differ from normal epidermal cells. So in monocots, few specialized cells, thin-walled, fan-shaped, water-filled cells are present in upper epidermis of leaf. These specialized cells are called as bulliform cells or motor cells. So normal epidermal cells are rectangular in size, and this epidermis interrupted by small tiny pores. In the upper epidermis, certain places, 3 to 6 large sized cells and thin walled cells present, which makes a special function. These bulliform cells or motor cells regulate the transpiration rate by rolling or infolding of the leaves. So rolling or infolding, if in the rolling condition, the transpiration rate is very less. In the expansion state, the more water lost from the lamina or the surface of the leaf. So these are the special cells present in the monocots. This picture uh, elucidates transverse section of Triticum vulgare, that is wheat plant, so which containing special epidermal cells that is called bulliform cells or motor cells. Next, another special structures found in the epidermis layer of leaves as well as young stems, that is stomata. Stomata are nothing but it is a tiny pore on leaf surface or leaf epidermis. Through this structure, gases are exchanged between the plant and atmosphere. Not only in the gas exchange, it's play an important role in the regulation of transpiration process. One of the physiological function, that is transpiration process, occurs through stomata structures. so which are present in the leaf epidermis and as well as young herbaceous stems also. Structure of stomata. Each stomata is surrounded by a pair of kidney-shaped guard cells. A pair of kidney-shaped guard cells. Each guard cell is a modified epidermal cell showing a prominent nucleus, cytoplasm, and plast. The cell wall of the guard cell is differentially thickened. The inner wall of each guard cell facing the stomata is concave and is thick rigid. The guard cells are surrounded by variable number of epidermal cells called subsidiary cells. The stomatal pore, guard cell, and the subsidiary cells together constitute the stomatal complex. Below the stomatal pore, a small free space present in the mesophyll tissue that is called as substomatal chamber. So, which helps in the exchange of gases through diffusion process. In angiosperms, dicots and monocots are differentiated by guard cell shape and structure. In the dicot plants, the guard cells are in kidney shape. In case of monocots, it is dumbbell shape. So these are the dumbbell shape structure are there, two guard cells are there. Here kidney shape or bean shaped structure is there. And the cell walls are differentially thickened. So towards the pore region, cell wall is more thick compared to the outside wall. In the same way, phenomena observed in the guard cells also. These two guard cells containing plastids and a prominent nucleus and a vacuolated protoplasm. So these stomatas are arranged in the epidermal layers of the leaf. Arrangement of stomata in monocot is parallel, in dicots are irregular. The stomatas are exactly parallel to the epidermal cells in the monocots, but in case of dicots, it is irregular. So what is meant by stomatal frequency? The number of stomata present in per square centimeter or per unit area is referred as stomatal frequency. The number of stomata is also vary from one species to another species, and the occurrence of the stomata is also differ in both epidermis. For example, the position of the stomata. If the stomata found in the upper epidermis only, that is known as epistomatic. If the stomatas are found in both epidermis, that is lower epidermis as well as upper epidermis, that is known as amphistomatic. Amphistomatic. If stomata is restricted to only lower epidermis, that is known as hypostomatic. If stomata is absent in the leaves, that is astomatic. Example is submerged aquatic plants and floating aquatic submerged aquatic plants. Epistomatic, hypostomatic, amphistomatic, and astomatic. This is the position of stomata based on that. The number normally in the monocots, the leaves are isobilateral type. So that's why equal number of stomata present in both epidermis. But in case of dicots, the leaf is dorsiventral type. In the dorsiventral leaves, the stomata number is more in upper epidermis, than the lower epidermis. So lower epidermis exactly directly face to the sunlight. That's why the stomata number is less compared to the upper epidermis. Then stomata based on ontogeny or development. Stomatas are classified into three types: perigenous type, mesogenous type, and mesoperigenous type. So based on ontogeny. Ontogeny means how the two type of cells derived during the development process. In the perigenous type, God cells and subsidiary cells develop from the non-identical or different mother cells is known as perigenous. Perigenous type, both the cells, that is God cells and subsidiary cells, which are derived from or developed from different mother cells, that is known as perigenous. If it is mesogynous type, the God cells and subsidiary cells originate or develop from same mother cell. Example is crucifers. Here example is cucurbits. But in few plants, mixed type condition is also identified. That is mesoperigenous condition. Mesoperigenous condition means two God cells and a part of subsidiary cells derived from different mother cells. So that condition is called as perigenous. But other subsidiary cells, other group of subsidiary cells derived from only one kind of mother cells, that is called mesogynous. A mixed condition seen in the dicots, few dicots plants, that is mesoperigenous type. So just we can go through that one. So this is the based on the development, mesogynous and mesoperigenous, both are there. So a part of the cells which derive one few subsidiary cells along with God cells, and another type of initial cells which derive remaining subsidiary cells. That is called both type conditions are seen in this type. So mesogynous, different, and perigenous, both are developed from same type of mother cells. So this is perigenous, this is mesogynous, this is mesoperigenous. So next, another type of classification of stomata based on the characters of the God cells or with regard to the epidermal cells surrounding the stomata. Metcalfe and Chow described mainly four types of stomatas in dicots. The four main types of stomatas are anomozytic, anisozytic, diacytic, and parasitic. So these are the four types of stomatas are found in the dicots based on the number and size of the epidermal cells surrounded by God cells. First, anomozytic type or ranunculaceous type. In this stomata, surrounded with 4 to 6 number of cells, which cannot be differentiated from other cells. So the two God cells surrounded by more than 4 cells, which cannot be differentiated from other epidermal cells, which are looks like same type of epidermal cells. So that is called as anomocytic. Anomocytic, you can see here. So this is anomocytic. Here the two God cells are there, surrounded by 4 subsidiary cells, which are not differentiated with the epidermal cells. The second type is anisocytic type or cruciferous type. So stomata surrounded by 3 subsidiary cells in which one cell is smaller than other two. So by the observation of the picture in the cross section of the leaf, so the two God cells are surrounded by 3 subsidiary cells. Among the 3, one is small, remaining 2 are large. Such type of stomatas are called anisocytic. Example is cruciferous type. Cruciferous plants or Brassicaceae members. Next one is diacytic or ruviaceous type. In here, stomata encloses in a pair of subsidiary cells in which they are at right angle to the guard cells. So in the diacytic stomata, the two guard cells surrounded by two subsidiary cells which are exactly right angle to the guard cells. So this is a 90 degrees or perpendicular to the guard cells. So two subsidiary cells are there which are exactly situated right angle to the guard cells. And fourth type is parasitic or caryophyllaceous type. Here in this stomata, subsidiary cells arranged in that manner, they having same arrangement as guard cells. Here also two subsidiary cells are there which are exactly parallel to the guard cells. See here, so the arrangement of the two guard cells, two subsidiary cells parallel to the guard cells. So both these two subsidiary cells are merged in the polar regions or upper and lower pole. So in this way, four type of main stomatas are identified by Metcalfe and Chow. Along with these four types, another types also there. So tetracytic means two guard cells are surrounded by four subsidiary cells which are arranged, two are parallel and two are above and below the guard cells. So in this way, this is called tetracyte. In the gramineaceous members, the dumbbell-shaped cells are there. And the actinocytic means the number of guard cells surrounded by number of subsidiary cells surrounded by guard cells which are arranging in a radially manner or radiating manner. So that is called as actinocytic. So these are the different type of stomatas. They are cyclocytic, actinocytic. Cyclocytic means 4 to 6 subsidiary cells are present. Among the 6, 2 are small and which are appear in circular shape and they exactly above and below the guard cells. Example, Pommy family members. So these are the various types of stomatas. Next, we discuss about another accessory structures of epidermal tissue system, that is trichomes or hairs. Trichomes or hairs is nothing but the external emergences or external appendages which are derived from the epidermal cells. Epidermal cells are sometimes extended outward, forming projections or variable shape and in size. If the external appendages is very short and conical, it is called as papillae, and the epidermis is described as papillosed epidermis. But if the projections are long and well protruding, they from trichomes or hairs. So if it is very long and clear, they are called as hairs or trichomes. The part of the trichome embedded in the epidermis is called as foot. So which part of the trichome is completely embedded in the epidermis, that is known as foot. The remaining free part of the trichome is called as body. Hairs are classified into glandular and non-glandular type, or sometimes covering hairs also. So these are the various type of microscopic slides which shows different type of trichomes on the superficial surface of the epidermis. So these trichomes sometimes unicellular, sometimes multicellular also. These trichomes are branched and unbranched also. Majorly, trichomes are classified into glandular and non-glandular type. If it is non-glandular, how they are classified again into different types. Non-glandular hairs are classified into based on made up of cells. If it is made with only single cell, that is unicellular, more cells are multicellular. Again, unicellular trichomes are branched, unbranched. Here multicellular also same type, unbranched and branched. So in unbranched, for example, cottony, systolic types are there. Uh, Again, multicellular trichomes are classified into unbranched and branched. If it is unbranched, uniseriate, biseriate, and pluriceriate. And the cells arranged in one row, or two rows, or three rows, or more than three. So branched, it means based on the shape, it is simple, stellate, peltate, and candelabra. So unicellular, just now said, it is formed of with one cell. Unbranched, that is simple trichome, cottony hair, and systolic hair. Branched, it is present in the lavender. Multicellular, that is formed more than one cell. Unbranched, and it is simple uniseriate, one row of cells present in the multicellular trichome, example belladonna and stramonium. Biseriate means formed two rows of cells, each row of twine cell as in arnica flower or more cells as in calendula. So pluriceriate means many rows of cells, that is shaggy hairs as in cumin. Simple branched with uniseriate bud ending with two branches, that is example is tobacco. Stellate means star-shaped or radiating unicellular hairs. Peltate means with very short axis surrounded by a plate-like structure with closely joined cells. Example, pollia. So we can see the picture. These are the unicellular hairs. These are uniseriate hairs, and branched hairs are there. See here. So for example, if it is a uniseriate, all the cells are arranged in a single row. If it is at the end region, it will be divided into two. Biseriate means two rows of cells, and more than three, it is called shaggy hairs. Okay. The shape, branched trichomes are arranged in different types. Stellated and peltate hairs are there. T-shaped hairs are there. So unbranched unicellular means cottony hair. That example is cotton. And systolic means some systolics are present in that hair trichomes. Next one is glandular hairs. Glandular hairs are mostly common in dicots. They consisting of several cells and classified into different types. In the glandular hairs, unicellular very rare, present in piper only. These multicellular trichomes, these multicellular trichomes having with living cells, and they secrete different type of chemical substances like nectar, mucilage, salts, sugary solutions, and toxins also. So mostly glandular hairs are multicellular. First, we discuss about salt and chalk secreting trichomes. Generally, we found this type of trichomes in halophytes because in the aquatic surroundings, the water completely dissolve with high concentrated salts. So that's why the salts are regularly enter into the plant body. The excess of salts are omitted or executed by these trichomes. Such type of trichomes are called salt and chalk secreting trichomes. Example is Avicennia. Example is Avicennia. You can see. Another one is mucilage secreting trichomes. Example Rumex and Rhium. These trichomes are exudes mucilaginous substances. So after destroy these trichomes, the miscellaneous substance come out from the plant body. So third one is very important during the pollination process, nectar secreting hormones, trichomes. In most of the plants, either unicellular or multicellular trichomes produces sweet sugary substances. Example is Tropiolum hibiscus. Stinging hairs, another type stinging hairs, which are present in Euphorbiaceae and Urticaceae plant members. In these plants, the glandular hairs are um, looks like a hook model. In Artica dioica, the epidermis produces or secretes some toxins which kill the insects. So the basal part of the trichome is broad and the apical part is become pointed. Whenever an insect or animal visited the plant surface, immediately the trichome penetrates into the animal body and release some toxinous substances into the prey. And in trachea also, few trichomes are produced some chemical substances which causes rashes on the skin. So trachea means it is called Duradagundi. So and what are the differences between trichomes and emergences? The epidermal emergences means in the development of emergences, epidermis along with other tissues also participated. That is conjunctive tissues and conductive tissues. So that's why few plants on the epidermis seen spines, scale leaves, and warts also. So these are all called as emergences. Emergences somewhat different with the trichomes or hair-like structures because in this vascular tissue also supplied into the structures and they are in living condition when compared to epidermis. So these are the various type of glandular hairs. So this is a Artica, stinging hairs. So the basal part is very broad and the apical part become pointed. From this part penetrates into the insect and release some toxins which kills the insects or harmful to the insects. So these are the hydatodes are different. So this is glandular hairs or salt secreting trichomes. These are nectar secreting trichomes, and these are the microscopic structures found observing under the microscope. So next last we discuss about the functions of epidermal tissue system or mainly epidermis. First one is protect the plant from water loss in transpiration process. Epidermis protects the underlying tissues also. Different type of tissues are there, complex tissues and permanent mature tissues are there, which are protected by epidermis layer only. Exchange of gases and transpiration through the stomata, storage of water and metabolic products. Trichomes are also helpful in the dispersal of seeds, fruits, and provide protection against animals and insects. Glandular hairs repel herbivorous animals also. So this is about the epidermal tissue systems and its functions. Thank you, and in next class with another topic. Okay.